While traveling in the salt marshes of the north, Geralt of Rivia slayed an insect-like monster called a Kikimora and brought it to the town of Blaviken in the hopes of reward. Unfortunately, his old friend Caldemain, the local alderman, explained there was no bounty, but took him to see the wizard Irion, who lived in a nearby tower and might have some use for the beast. Only Geralt was permitted inside, where he found a beautiful, high-level illusion displaying a house and orchard with a naked woman carrying a basket of apples. Much to the Witcher's surprise, the wizard Irion was revealed to be Stregobor, a powerful sorcerer who once served in the court of Kovir and spoke ill of Geralt, accusing him of being a brute and charlatan who made a living killing endangered creatures. As a result, the king refused to pay when the Witcher slayed a two-headed water snake and was given only 12 hours to leave the realm. Stregobor explained that he was now on the run and living in Blaviken under the name Irion, taken from the wizard who lived in the tower previously and died 200 years earlier. With his specialities being illusions and weather, he could conjure his own pleasures within the tower while manipulating storms to bring fish to the shores, thereby keeping the locals happy. But his life here was now under threat from a monster, and he considered it destiny that the Witcher arrived in his hour of need. Geralt reluctantly listened to Stregobor tell the story of Eltibald, a wizard greatly respected by some and thought a lunatic by others. Eltibald studied the writings of werebugs, an ancient species that predated humans, as well as those of the Dauk and Wasgar, men who lived in the north before the Nordlings. Claiming that all three sources agreed, the wizard foretold of doom, as the eclipse of the Black Sun heralded the return of Lilith, a demon goddess worshipped in the east. According to Eltibald, her return would be prepared by 60 women wearing gold crowns, who would fill the river valleys with blood. This was interpreted to mean 60 princesses born during or after the eclipse. A group of wizards, including Stregobor, were given charge of the campaign to eliminate this threat, killing the girls they suspected and performing autopsies, as well as one vivisection to learn more. Discovering horrendous mutations, Stregobor personally witnessed a girl with organs missing and in the wrong places, as well as a 6-chambered heart instead of 4. Unfortunately, it was difficult to determine which girls were afflicted until they were autopsied, so a number of innocents were killed along with those they considered guilty. Realizing the slaughter of innocents could not continue, the wizards started isolating the girls by locking them away in tall towers, where some died and others escaped or were rescued by knights and princes. Of those who survived, they fulfilled their part of the prophecy by causing terrible devastation in places like Narok, North Velhad, and Talgar. The Witcher listened to the story but couldn't help interrupting with counter-arguments, claiming he did not believe any of the curse or prophecy nonsense, and that what really happened was a group of wizards took advantage of a madman's ravings to manipulate rulers and increase their own power. Geralt had seen plenty of mutations in his time, including his own, and so was not fazed by the look of their organs. And as for those who went on to do terrible things, they acted no worse or different than any of the other sadistic rulers not born under a black sun, who tortured and murdered their people on a regular basis. Frustrated by the Witcher's skepticism, Stregobor returned to the immediate problem, explaining that one of the girls born after the eclipse was the beloved eldest daughter of the Prince of Cretan and his first wife. This was uncovered by the prince's second wife, Aridea, a fair and intelligent woman from a powerful family with connections to the Brotherhood of Sorcerers. Through inheritance, she came into the possession of a magical mirror which could predict the future. Asking about the fate of the realm, the mirror said the Princess Renfri would cause the death of Aridea and many others within the castle. This prophecy, coupled with the knowledge she was born after the Black Sun, led Aridea to contact the Brotherhood, which sent Stregobor to investigate. Not only did his tests confirm she was mutated, but she tortured a canary, 2 puppies, and gouged out the eyes of a servant. Although Stregobor wanted to isolate the girl, Aridea insisted she be killed, and so Renfri was sent with one of her hired thugs to be eliminated in the forest. The thug was later found dead, with his trousers around his ankles, and a hair brooch stabbed into his ear. 4 years later, Aridea learned Renfri was now a skilled warrior living in Mahakam under the name Shrike, leading a gang of 7 gnomes who were terrorizing the countryside. Although Aridea, her husband, and their children soon died, possibly killed by Renfri, Stregobor continued the hunt, searching for the cursed princess. The wizard was in Mahakam when the gnomes turned on each other and died, leaving only Shrike, who spotted him and attacked. Using a spell, Stregobor turned her into a slab of crystal and collapsed a mine on top of her, but it was not enough, as she was later found by a prince who spent a fortune on a counterspell. Bringing her home, his father was outraged that the infamous Shrike was in his presence and ordered her killed, but the prince staged a coup and eliminated his father and brothers to become king, with Renfri as his first favorite. Determined to seek vengeance, she made 3 assassination attempts on Stregobor in Kovir, followed by attacks in Pontar, Angren, and now Blaviken. The wizard suspected that her mutations allowed her to track him and were continuing to progress, as she was now immune to magic. Stregobor asked Geralt to kill Renfri, claiming it was the lesser evil, but he refused, saying, "Evil is evil, Stregobor. Lesser, greater, middling, it's all the same. Proportions are negotiated, boundaries blur, but if I'm to choose between one evil or another, then I prefer not to choose at all." Returning to the tavern and explaining the situation to the alderman, they both confronted Renfri, who was there with 6 well-trained warriors, threatening her with arrest. But when she presented a letter from the king, naming her a friend and forbidding mistreatment, the alderman had no choice but to drop the matter and leave. After departing and having dinner with the alderman and his family, Geralt retired to his room, where Renfri was waiting. She snuck into the house to offer the Witcher a proposal which might save the town from bloodshed. Revealing her side of the story, she claimed her insane stepmother plotted with Stregobor to remove the rightful heir so her own children could inherit the realm. Sending her to the forest to be killed by a huntsman, he raped Renfri before taking pity and letting her flee. Doing whatever was necessary to survive, she prostituted herself, stole, killed, and spent time in prisons, all the while being chased by her stepmother and Stregobor, who once tried to poison her with an apple. Fortunately, she was saved by one of the 7 gnomes she befriended, stating that they treated her better than most humans. Claiming that she was not responsible for the death of Aridea and was therefore robbed of her vengeance, the rest of her fury was directed at Stregobor, and nothing would stand in her way. However, in order to prevent anyone else from getting hurt, Renfri suggested Geralt enter the tower and kill the wizard himself, believing that one must choose the lesser evil when the alternative is true evil. The Witcher asked her to renounce this vengeance, but she said it was not possible, and then suddenly changed demeanor as if in a trance, saying,
"I pity you. You claim a lesser evil doesn't exist. You're standing on a flagstone, running with blood, alone, and so very lonely, because you can't choose. But you had to, and you'll never know. You'll never be sure if you were right, and your reward will be a stoning and a bad word. I pity you."
Renfri then returned to normal and agreed to renounce her vengeance before spending an intimate night with the Witcher. The next morning, Geralt was told a story by the alderman claiming one of Renfri's thugs was recognized as being a part of the infamous Treedom Ultimatum, where a group of outlaws were set to be executed until their comrades took over a ferry, threatening to execute the passengers one by one until their friends were freed. Geralt recalled Renfri mentioning Treedom and realized she lied and was about to hold the marketplace hostage until Stregobor surrendered. Geralt asked the alderman to arrest Renfri and the others, but he could not violate the orders of the king and forbid the Witcher from making trouble. But Geralt was convinced there would be a massacre and headed to the still empty market, where the outlaws were waiting with an ultimatum from the princess, stating, "I am what I am. Choose either me or a lesser." Understanding what she meant, Geralt pulled out his sword and deflected a crossbow bolt shot his way, before engaging and slaughtering all 6 of his opponents, as all of Blaviken watched from a distance. Renfri then arrived and revealed that Stregobor refused to leave his tower under any circumstances, even if she killed the entire town and surrounding villages. Therefore, Renfri wasn't going to kill anyone because it was pointless, but with her men dead, she could not stop herself from attacking Geralt, who pleaded with her to stop and flee. But she would not, and so they fought until he stabbed her thigh, causing her to collapse and bleed out. In her final moments, she asked Geralt to hold her, but he wisely refused, finding a dagger hidden beneath her after she died. With the fighting ended, Stregobor arrived to thank the Witcher and bring the body back for an autopsy, but Geralt pulled out his sword and forbid it, even though it was the only way to be certain she was a child of the Black Sun. Backing down, Stregobor suggested leaving together for Kovir, as the people of Blaviken would not understand the context behind the massacre they just witnessed, but Geralt would not go, and so after the wizard left, the townsfolk started to hurl rocks. Shielding himself with a sign, the alderman walked up and banished him from ever returning. And so, the Witcher departed, and in time an uninformed version of this event spread throughout the continent, earning him the nickname, the Butcher of Blaviken. Love The Witcher or any other series? Then why not check out Audible, where they have the largest collection of audiobooks available. Sign up now and get 1 free audiobook and 2 Audible originals, or else give the gift of membership to someone you know. If you prefer to read your stories, then click on the link to the Kindle Unlimited plan and get access to as many ebooks as you want. If you haven't already, be sure to check out the excellent Witcher audiobooks, narrated by Peter Kenny, including the main novels and short stories which accompany the series. A special thanks to all those who contribute to CivilizationEx, like Pete J. King, Sir Rick Lone, Kurgan the Immortal, and Captain Scullery. If you'd like to help the channel, go to patreon.com/CivilizationEx, where you can sign up and gain early access to videos, vote on future content, and access the Patreon-only series, Heroes of Lore and Legend.